Good afternoon, AAA members, and welcome to our second week of our virtual Traveler Showcase. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. But before we begin, I want to go over some quick housekeeping. You're going to be muted throughout the presentation today. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the questions box, and we will answer as many questions as we can at the end. There are handouts included in this presentation that you're more than welcome to download and keep. Our travel professionals also have these on hand and can walk you through the details. This presentation is being recorded, and we will be sending you a link to the recording by email after the event today. There will also be a short survey included in the email as well, so if you could please take a few moments and complete the survey for us, your feedback is greatly appreciated. We have presentations this week through Thursday, January 28th. If you would like to see the full schedule of presentations for the Traveler Showcase, you can do so at aaa.com/Traveler Showcase. And we will have information about how you can get in touch with all of our knowledgeable AAA travel professionals at the end of the presentation today. With that said, we are very excited to have Trafalgar join us for our presentation today. Leading the industry since 1947, each individual itinerary is crafted to give you what you crave out of your holidays, the freedom to discover and the confidence to explore. Through immersive Trafalgar exclusions like their Be My Guest experiences, you'll form real connections with the places you visit every time. Trafalgar's travel directors are there with you every day of the trip, ready to help you make your travel dreams come to life. And their network of passionate local specialists and hosts help you uncover even more of the essence of each destination through a local lens. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Tanya Lee, District Sales Manager for AAA's preferred travel partner, Trafalgar. Thanks for joining us today, Tanya.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay, Nathan?
I can hear you just fine. The floor
All
is
right.
yours.
Thank you so much. So I just want to thank everyone so much for joining today to discover your guide to Australia and New Zealand with Trafalgar. And any day that I get an opportunity to work with the esteemed AAA of Oregon and Idaho is a good day. So today is definitely a good day. And I have to admit, I am a little giddy because having the opportunity to talk to travelers who are like-minded and ready to start planning and exploring the world again is really a treat. I'm super excited to be able to share all that we have to offer in Australia and New Zealand with you today. And what a place to start. Two magnificent nations. Australia and New Zealand, I would start by describing them as both urban and wild, familiar as well as extremely unique. We have simply uncovered the best that Australia and New Zealand has to offer. And this is backed by 70 years of experience and expertise, as well as over 5 million happy guests that have traveled with us in the past. We've crafted vacations that let you discover the magic of these two magnificent nations. And before we delve into all the unparalleled experiences that Trafalgar has to offer, I do just want to tell you a little bit about myself so you know who you're listening to and who you're spending the next few minutes with. My name is Tanya Lee. I'm the District Sales Manager, as Nathan said, for Trafalgar in the Pacific Northwest. So I currently live in Northern California. I was born in Oklahoma, but I like to say I was ripened in Southern California. So that's definitely shaped who I am. My personal travel style has evolved quite a bit as I've ticked off some of my bucket list trips and really just grown through my journeys, both near and far. I've definitely hit most of the hot travel spots, hot tourist spots, and I've taken the beaten path for sure. But I have to say that my most treasured travel memories, the memories that I hold closest to my heart, weren't created that way. The memories that really stand out for me as real moments were moments that I couldn't have expected or planned on my own. I feel like in order for you to really experience the true joy of travel, you need to seek out experience and expertise. You need to partner with a AAA travel agent. You need to, and thank you for being here today, look into travel companies like Trafalgar. We are a very inspired way to travel. We're an innovative brand. We definitely have our ear to the ground, listening to consumer concerns and trends, which allows us to deliver exactly what you need and what you want today. And you're going to have an opportunity to hear about how all of these benefits are available to you through Trafalgar and in our trips in Australia and New Zealand. And so let's begin. Let's jump into it.
Hey, Tanya,
When yes.
don't mean to interrupt, but it's still on the Australia New Zealand slide, and it didn't advance for you.
Oh wow.
Hang on one
What?
second. I'm going to pull this back and give it back to you. Hang on one moment.
Okay. I'm going to turn off my camera too, just in case.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. And let me just advance one just to make sure, Nathan. Is it
Yep,
moving?
yep, it
Okay.
moved.
Awesome. Okay. So when I think of Australia, so many vivid pictures come to mind. Australia is a land of opportunity and experiences just waiting to be had. With such a large landmass and so much diversity, there's no wonder why it sits so high on so many travelers' lists. I want you to picture yourself exploring this sparkling blue Great Barrier Reef, pictured here. It's the world's largest coral reef system, one of the seven wonders of the world. And then when I'm thinking of Australia, next my mind drifts to the sacred Uluru Rock in Uluru Katajuta National Park. And there are so many amazing national parks in both Australia and New Zealand. Then there's the iconic Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That iconic skyline is definitely something that comes to mind when you think of Australia. Then you have the beauty of Bondi Beach. Then there's Great Ocean Road, which was dedicated and built in memory of slain soldiers from World War One. And you'll notice that my list for Australia is a little shoreline heavy. And I think that is a throwback to me being a Southern California girl. I really do love the water. Water views and just anything I can do in the water has always been at the top of my list when traveling. And then if we shift our attention to the friendly island country of New Zealand, from its golden sand beaches to rugged coastlines, New Zealand offers, again, a variety of scenic opportunities and something really for everyone. Anything from geothermal mud pools to underground cave systems. You've got cool, very sophisticated cities with Alps as a backdrop. Then you can also, I know what comes to mind for me is the iconic Sky Tower or the Fiordland National Park. And then there's also the beautiful Maori culture and the extraordinary wildlife. This is a country that is renowned for its rich culture and Instagrammable landscapes. So let's really get into it now. Today, I want to introduce you to the people, places, and experiences you can encounter while traveling in Australia and New Zealand, and all the aspects of a great trip with Trafalgar. So what I want to talk to you about tonight is why a guided vacation with Trafalgar is the best way to see Australia and New Zealand. And I want you to really understand the benefits that are available to you when you choose a Trafalgar vacation. I'll highlight the incredible only with Trafalgar inclusions, which make us unlike anything else on offer and market. I also want to reveal the places we know best and some of the most adored Australian and New Zealand experiences we offer. Most importantly, I want you to walk away tonight knowing that your dream trip can definitely be a reality. My overall mission is to inspire you and to have you excited for your vacation by the time we end our time together tonight. All right. So I like to call this our I love me wall. It's basically the highlights of what makes us who we are. We travel all seven continents. We've been doing this for over 7 decades, and we have more than 5 million happy guests that can attribute, or excuse me, that can definitely tell you exactly why Trafalgar is the way to go when planning your next vacation. We will definitely deliver the perfect vacation for you. So when you book with us, you can do so with the utmost of confidence. And then all that's left for our travelers to do once they have their trip booked and planned is to sit back and enjoy your journey. And we know in today's world, the only way that you're going to enjoy yourself is if you know that we have your health and well being as our number one priority. And we do. We've all been faced with sudden, unexpected closures of borders, and with that, the inability to travel. Despite these challenging times, we've continued to stay focused on service. Service is our constant and guiding light and always will be. Now, as we start to see staggered reopenings, We're leading by adapting to the new expectations of our guests and their needs. We know now more than ever, a traveler's peace of mind combined with a quality experience is what will redefine their enjoyment. We've always ensured that we had stringent well-being protocols during our trips, but in this fast-changing COVID era, we've had to implement elevated hygiene and distancing practices to meet the requirements of local governments and health authorities. The Travel Corporation in Trafalgar is committed to reigniting travel through giving travelers the peace of mind and the confidence they need to explore the world once again. And we know the best way, trust me. Trafalgar is part of a family of brands, 40 to be exact, under the umbrella of the Travel Corporation, and we take full advantage of our family ties. We have a sister company, AAT Kings, that actually pioneered travel in Australia dating back to 1912. So you get the benefit of Trafalgar's innovation and AAT's expertise, which basically delivers the essence of Australia and New Zealand. And with our guidance and knowledge, each vacation is simply easy for you and it will be unforgettable. And believe it or not, when you're traveling with us, it's not just the travelers that benefit. When you travel with us on any of our Australia or New Zealand experiences or any of the hundreds of experiences that we offer across the world, we offer you the benefit of contributing to those local communities and local individuals, as well as wildlife, the planet, and knowing that you're doing good overall. With your help, we can ensure that travel is making a positive impact wherever we go and whenever possible. And by choosing a Trafalgar guided vacation, you can take pride in knowing that you're helping to sustain our planet, its people, and the wildlife. And I do want to tell you about a couple of specific initiatives that we are actively supporting in Australia and New Zealand. Through our visits to the Australia Wildlife Zoo Hospital, we support their efforts to rehabilitate wild koalas and other native species. Also in Christchurch, New Zealand, they were hit by two separate wildfires back in 2017, and over 5,000 acres of land was destroyed. We've been diligently, with our guest help, planting trees to help reforest that area and have really been able to make a positive impact. Our trips are built on three core beliefs: real connections, as you see here, real ease, and real joy. Vacations are always better when you're allowed to connect with people and places when you're visiting. We want you to get a true locals perspective, and we connect our guests to the true heart of each destination by making it possible for them to go beyond the guidebooks. We want you to break bread with the locals, discover hidden gems, and make a difference in the world around you. Travel is so much more than just sightseeing. It's about truly connecting to a destination. And I'll show you what I'm talking about through the next couple of experiences. One of the ways that we connect our guests to each destination is through our Be My Guest experiences, which are exclusive to Trafalgar. Picture here, and those experiences are really about meeting locals and learning all about their daily way of life. So pictured here is the Bondi Beach Surf Life-Saving Club. And what that is, the surf life-saving movement is multifaceted in that it includes volunteer lifeguard services as well as surf sport. So this is something that started in Australia and has really caught fire, spread to New Zealand, Ireland, South Africa, the UK, and our guests get an opportunity to meet up with a clubby, which is what club members are affectionately known as locally. They meet up with a clubby and they spend the day touring the facility. They, of course, get some background and history of the club. They also get some firsthand stories, and they get to enjoy a beautiful lunch with the sparkling Pacific in the background. So again, this is a connect with locals, be my guest experience that you can only get through Trafalgar, and definitely not something you could arrange on your own. From Bondi Beach to the backwoods of New Zealand, our next Be My Guest experience takes us to O'Sullivan's Dairy Farm in New Zealand. And this is in the picturesque Hinuera Valley. If any of you are Lord of the Ring fans, this landscape is featured in the movie. During this experience, our guests get an opportunity to get up close and personal with a former famous race jockey who left all the glamour of racing horses to pursue farm life with his beautiful family. So we hear firsthand stories. We spend a really colorful afternoon just kind of getting to know the family, walking the farm, taking in the beautiful, beautiful landscape. And then our guests also have an opportunity to experience a farm to table lunch right there in that beautiful, picturesque landscape. Another way that we connect you to the destination is through dive into culture. And these are experiences um, that we have in almost every one of our itineraries in Australia and New Zealand. This particular, what you're seeing right now is an example of the world-renowned street art in Melbourne, Australia. So Melbourne wouldn't be Melbourne without the laneways or little streets that link together the central business district. There are endless arcades or shopping centers, cafes, lots of eateries from the basements to the rooftops. You could spend a full day getting lost in this fantastic grid, really, is what it is. The laneways date back to the Victorian times, so they date back to the Victorian era, excuse me. So you also have an opportunity to take in lots of Victorian architecture. Um, this area of the city is hugely popular with both locals and tourists alike. So it's definitely the spot to get a real taste of the city. And with over 40 laneways and arcades, it can be hard to distinguish the good ones and the ones that you should spend your energy exploring and time exploring, precious time when you're traveling, and the ones that might be filled with rubbish. But our guests never have to worry about that. We have you covered because in most of our experiences that feature the laneways, you get a local specialist to do a city tour with you. And I'll tell you a little bit more about who the local specialists are and what they mean to you as one of our guests. But our guests get the opportunity to walk the laneways with an expert, get some insight, just enough insight to make them dangerous, a little history. They get, of course, some hidden gems shared with them, and then the local specialist sets them loose to explore as they see fit. Another really powerful example of our dive into culture experiences is the Tamaki Maori village in Rotorua. And the Maori people are an indigenous Polynesian people of the mainland New Zealand, and they originated with settlers from Eastern Polynesia arriving in waves between 1320 and 1350. So they are a big part of what makes up who New Zealand is and what it's about today. This ancient village is definitely a treasure, and our guests get an opportunity to be immersed in this rich culture. They get to stroll through this ancient forest village, learning about the Maori art forms and traditions. And then our guests get the honor of seeing a concert that features local performers. And the pièce de résistance is they get to enjoy an authentic Maori hungi feast. And what that is it's a meal that's prepared underground in an earth oven in a very traditional and authentic way. The food is cooked with geothermal steam. So it's cooked slowly over a long period of time. You get your choice of protein for your main dish and some beautiful vegetables and salad. The vegetables and the meat are prepared, like I said, with steam, geothermal steam. So the food takes on a very smoky, kind of earthy flavor, and it also tends to be very succulent and tender. So just something very unique and something you would not want to miss when visiting Rotorua or being in New Zealand at all. It's definitely a must do. The other way that we want you to connect on our trips is through the places that you slumber. So the way that we do that is through what we call stays with stories. So in combination with the 4 and 5 star accommodations that we use during our itineraries, we also incorporate stays with stories, which are unique properties that allow you to wake up surrounded by history and culture. So if you'll imagine with me for a minute, waking up to a sunrise view of Uluru, blazing under a sunny outback sky. I mean, doesn't that sound just amazing? It's something that would take your breath away. You'll discover the stunning heart of the Red Center from the Desert Gardens Hotel in Ayers Rock. So this is definitely a great example of our Stays with Story and something that will enrich your experience for sure. Another stunning example of our Stays with Story is the Punakaiki Resort in New Zealand, and it's situated on the wild west coast. The resort has been designed in harmony with the environment to maximize the surrounding beautiful ocean views and rainforest views. So your stay here gives you a unique insight into local ecology and nature. And it's also just a stunning resort. The second of the three core values our trips are built around is real ease. So we want to ensure just that your trip is stress-free. And that is possible with Trafalgar, traveling with Trafalgar. Each of our vacations is personally handcrafted. And what that means is that it's built on expertise and guest feedback. We have a team of passionate trip builders that take great pride in creating the best experiences for our guests. And we'll deliver real ease by simply taking care of everything for you, leaving you more time to truly enjoy your desired vacation the way you've dreamed. And we know that seeing those iconic sites is a huge part of that. From the majestic views overlooking some of the most iconic cities in Australia and New Zealand to exploring the natural beauty of the national parks, we want to ensure that our guests don't miss a single thing. So you'll be glad to know that your vacation has all the iconic must-sees and sites built in, saving you time, any time that might be needed to book ahead of time, plan in advance. And I also think there's a value represented in not having to book those elements individually and having them all included for you. You can rest assured that each and every one of these inclusions, is expertly planned. So that's to ensure that you get the best of the best. We provide VIP entrances at most iconic venues, and we organize the perfect vantage point. And what I mean by that is, pictured here is the Sydney Harbor Bridge. Our guests get to take that in from a harbor cruise, which definitely heightens their experience. And we know everyone wants to see these icons. They're on everyone's bucket list, which undoubtedly means queues and massive lines of people. Like I said, everyone wants to see these places. And when you travel with us, we take that piece of the equation right off of your plate. We organize VIP entry to most sites and attractions for you. That way you get to spend less time waiting around and more time enjoying yourself. It's just so easy when you're our guest. We ensure you get to walk by those lines and queues each and every time. And you're probably wondering how we make all this happen. I can't take credit for it. The perfect vacation doesn't come together on its own. It takes true experts to deliver this kind of trip effortlessly. And the person who is responsible for that, the moment makers, are the travel directors. These are the people who are with you for the entirety of the trip. So they're with you from start to finish. Their passion and knowledge truly brings each destination to life. It's like having your best friend show you around their city. And there's no question or request that's too large, so please always ask. I've had so many people come back from some of the most exotic destinations that we travel to. And the first thing they want to talk to me about is how wonderful their travel director was and how they're one in a million. And I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. All of our travel directors are amazing. They're expertly trained and they really do make a difference in your experience. No matter which trip you're traveling on, you're going to be amazed at the level of service that they deliver. Just think about how much work is saved on your end before and throughout your travel when you know that there's a true travel expert waiting for you to answer all of your questions and ensure you have the perfect vacation and get everything you're looking to get out of your experience. But one thing our fabulous travel directors cannot be is from everywhere that we visit. And we firmly believe that the best way to discover a region is through the eyes of a local. So our travel directors do not work alone. Throughout your journey, we're going to introduce you to passionate, fun people who we call local specialists. They could be historians, artists, they could be chefs. They're just local, passionate folks who want to share with you why they love living in their town and what makes it so special. With local specialists throughout, you get the best of both worlds. You get a Trafalgar travel director, and then you get a fun and engaging local specialist to show you the hidden gems of their town. And all of this, again, is included in a price. And we don't stop there. Another pain point, it could be a point for stress, and I know it has been for me in my own travels, is planning and navigating how to get from point A to point B. And we've taken care of all of this for you. All your travel and transport needs are taken care of, whether it be train journey, cruises, riding in luxury in our coaches. You don't have to worry about schedules, mileage, fuel, tolls, parking, maps. None of that is your concern. In fact, you can simply sit back and enjoy the views on board, enjoy that onboard Wi-Fi, keep your friends and family jealous back at home. It's just that simple. And don't think that I've forgotten about food. I am a true foodie at heart, and I know that food is a primary motivator for a lot of people when they travel. So we make sure that it has an opportunity to shine on all of our trips. We offer a great range of included meals, and we love taking you to places that locals go to. From fine dining experiences to rustic homemade meals with locals, we ensure that all of our guests have the ability to truly savor the flavor of Australia and New Zealand. Although many meals are included, we don't include all of them, and we do that intentionally. You'll find that all of your breakfasts will be included, and then about upwards of 50% of your dinners. And there's a good reason for that. We want to make sure that you have an opportunity to slip off and have a nice, quiet dinner with your travel companion, or if there was a bistro that you noticed while on a city tour, you have an opportunity to try that out, or maybe you have some recommendations from friends and family. We want you to be able to discover the food that you've been dreaming about. And if you aren't sure about where to dine, please don't stress because the travel directors and local specialists are full of wonderful recommendations. Along the same lines, I like to make sure that people understand, although this is a guided vacation, we make sure that you have plenty of me time. So if you want to go back to the CBD in Melbourne and you want to try out Hey Chocolate, which I highly recommend, or if there's some other type of retail therapy that you're seeking, or you want to explore a specific boutique, you have the opportunity to do that. We know each and every one of you will want to have some personal time, and we ensure you get it. You have the perfect mix of free time to unwind and included sightseeing throughout your vacation. This free time allows you to explore and discover the places you wish to see, the things on your personal bucket list. And after taking in all the included must-sees and attractions, you'll have free time to explore in your own way and on your own time. You have the freedom to customize your trips to see every nook and cranny if that's your desire, or you can just sit back and relax in comfort. It's completely up to you. Okay, so the combination of real connections and real ease, in my mind, equals real joy. And that's my kind of math. Real joy is about the moments that take your breath away when you're traveling. We know each traveler has their own idea of what makes a joyful vacation. And our goal is to create a perfect balance of inclusions, enhancements, and flexibility. This allows our guests to have the perfect vacation and create lasting memories that will be unique and personally fulfilling. Sometimes the best joy you can have while traveling is meeting new people, and Trafalgar definitely attracts all types of people. One of the best parts of this type of travel, in my mind, is you're able to meet like-minded people, new friends from all over the world. Whether you're traveling solo with your partner or with a family, you embark on this adventure with people who share your love for travel, which really adds to the whole vacation experience. Now let's take a look at some of our fan favorites, some of our most popular Australia and New Zealand tours. And we'll kick it off with the Australian highlights, which is the quintessential Australian trip. It's 13 days, and you start with an afternoon at leisure and a welcome dinner. And then once you've had a little taste, you do jump right into that edgy street art scene in the CBD. You get introduced to the city's love affair with coffee, and you're going to get an opportunity to explore those hidden lanes that we talked about. From there, you travel to Alice Springs, which is you're going to cross some rugged landscapes, and you'll get a chance to stay at the Ayers Rock Hotel that we talked about, which is a stone's throw away from Uluru Rock. You journey to Uluru Katajuta National Park in time for a sundowner's view, which is really spectacular. You get to see the ancient monolith as the sun's going down. Then you do get an opportunity to spend some time in the park in the morning with the travel director. From there, you travel to Cairns. You do take a high-speed catamaran to the Great Barrier Reef. You get an opportunity to snorkel, or you can explore from the comfort of a semi-submerged craft. So you get an option there, and anything you need for the snorkeling, of course, is provided. You get to visit Bondi Beach, and then you head to the Sydney Opera House for a privately guided tour. The next experience is definitely a remote getaway. Perfect Tasmania Tasmania is the 26th largest island in the world, and it's surrounded by 334 smaller islands. So again, this is a remote getaway. It starts in Hobart, which is the capital of this Australian state. The travel director accompanies our guests on a stroll through the rainforest. They get an opportunity to take in Russell Falls, which is really beautiful. And then you're on to the Wall in the Wilderness. And this is one of Australia's most ambitious art projects of recent years. And it depicts the hardship of people in the Central Highlands. There is a Be My Guest morning tea at the Shin Estate and Distillery, excuse me. This is an impressive colonial property that dates back to the 1800s. You do get an opportunity to do sightseeing in Port Arthur, and it includes a cruise around the Isle of the Dead and views of Pirate Bay Lookout. The next itinerary is definitely jam-packed. It's a 10-day journey, one country. You arrive in Auckland, departing from Queenstown. You start with sightseeing from the trendy waterfront to Mission Bay, and then you take a ferry over to Waiheke Island, where you do wine tastings in 2 different vineyards and 1 olive oil estate. So it's a very full afternoon, and you do get lunch at one of the vineyards with a very beautiful view. There's a connect with locals during your visit to Tamaki Maori Village, which we talked about. You get insights or gain insights there into local rituals and traditions, and you do get to partake in the Hungi Feast. This is probably one of my favorite Australian itineraries, or one of my favorites that we're going to discuss today. This journey starts and ends in Christchurch and literally jump starts with our guests contributing to our sustainable commitment to reforest the indigenous trees in the Port Hills. And then from there you go to Dunedin, where you're presented with 3 different choices for sightseeing. You can do the scenic train ride, or there's a wildlife cruise that features penguins, or you can have an opportunity to tour a brewery. And then in Queenstown, you get an opportunity to explore the UNESCO-listed Fiordlands National Park. Journeying through the rainforest, you do get to take in ancient glaciers, and you pass Mirror Lake. There is an opportunity, if you'd like, to get up close and personal with the Franz Josef Glacier, with an opportunity for an optional helicopter ride, which is, I know not everyone's cup of tea, but I think it would be beautiful in that area of the country. So we've covered quite a bit of information, and if you have any doubts, this is the opportunity where you have to fact check. We work with an external company to post trip feedback from guests online. We don't meddle with them. We don't handle them in any way. The company that we work with is called FIFO, and they post unedited reviews. We have over 50,000 unedited reviews online currently. So when you're ready to plan your trip, I encourage you to sit down with your AAA travel agent and just, scroll through and see what past guests have to say. Right now, we're being rated at a 4.6 out of 5 in guest satisfaction. And again, I think what's more important than that number is what people actually have to say word for word, and what they thought was the good, the bad, and the good when traveling with Trafalgar. Membership definitely has its perks. Every Trafalgar vacation is a great value, but as a AAA member, you know that you can rest assured that you're going to get the best price guaranteed. And there are definitely perks that are available only to you as a AAA member. You're going to receive a $40 per person optional excursion voucher. And right now we have what we're calling the big savings worldwide. So you get up to 12.5% off if you pay for your trip in full by the 4th of March. We also offer flexible cancellation as well as free changes within 30 days of booking. We know that there's a lot going on in the world right now, so we want you to have some flexibility to change your plans if you need to. And then just for being here with us this evening or this afternoon, you're going to receive $200 off per couple if you book within 7 days of the showcase. And if you need a little bit more time, that's okay. You'll receive $100 off per couple if you book within 30 days of the showcase. And to close, I just want to say we spent a lot of time, or a little bit of time, talking about Australia and New Zealand. but we do travel to all 7 continents. So anywhere you want to go in the world, Trafalgar can take you. When you're ready to make your plans, it's as simple as contacting a AAA travel agent and saying that you want a Trafalgar. I want to thank you again for being here today. Really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you somewhere out there on the road.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for all the great information you shared with us today. And I know our members are excited about planning their next Australia and New Zealand getaway. I did want to mention before we jump off the call today that we do have another event with Trafalgar coming up on February 18th, where they're going to be covering some great destinations in Europe. So if you want to RSVP for this event, you're more than welcome to do so. It is on AAA.com/travel. You'll be able to find a link to all of our events there. I also wanted to thank those of you who have submitted questions already through the questions box. We will answer those shortly. If you haven't submitted a question just yet, now is a great time to do that. But before we go into the questions, I want to chat with you briefly about how you can get in touch with us here at AAA. So there are several ways to do so. You're always more than welcome to contact us by phone. Our 800 number is listed there for you. When you call that number, you will get put in touch with a AAA travel professional in the nearest service center to you. If you've worked with one of our great travel professionals before, definitely go to them. They're going to be your go-to person. But if you haven't worked with one of our travel professionals before, a great way to get in touch with us is by email. And that email address is AAAtravel@AAAoregon.com. Just send us your member number and a brief description of what you're looking for on your next vacation, and we can put you in touch with a travel professional that can help you out and get started. You can always visit us on our website at AAA.com, more specifically AAA.com/travel. This has tons of great resources for you, and it has a lot of great information about all of our preferred travel partners, including Trafalgar. And then our service centers are open to the public right now. We are asking that if you do want to come in and speak with one of our travel professionals in person, that you schedule an appointment, just so that we can kind of manage the flow of traffic coming in and out of our service centers. It's still kind of uncertain times, so we want to make sure that we're doing our part to keep you safe and also our travel professionals. So Tanya, let me grab one more question that came through here. I'm going to start with the 12.5% off promotion that you were talking about. Is that for all destinations?
It is, but it is select itineraries. So
Okay.
if you're interested, anyone who's interested, definitely get in touch with your AAA travel agent. They'll be able to walk you through and tell you exactly how much you'll save on each itinerary.
Okay. And the next question was about when the Australia and New Zealand, when the tours operate. So what time of year do these tours run?
Normally we have Australia and New Zealand tours running all year. Right now, with the restrictions, we probably won't see anything on the road until early August. Yeah, and that's just where we're at right now. Everything's kind of fluid. And as we get information, we'll definitely update our website, and you can definitely get that information from your AAA travel agent.
Fantastic. This is a great question that came through because I know that you have your bubble tours right now as well, but they were asking how many people are generally on a group tour?
That is a great question. And right now, especially in destinations we're not traveling to, the best answer I can give you is that it's going to be right sized. So based on whatever the restrictions are locally by the government and local authorities, we're going to make sure that our trips are right sized for the specific destination. And also, obviously, we're going to keep our members, or excuse me, your members and our guests' safety and well-being at top of mind.
Fantastic. You just kind of answered this one. It said, is Trafalgar booking for Australia and New Zealand this fall?
Yes, we're going to start booking. We have currently, when I last checked, it was in August that we were going to start booking. So fingers crossed, but let's start planning now. Let's, burn down the phones with your AAA travel agent. Let's get everything planned now so that when all that desire, because there's so much pent up travel desire, when all that desire comes to fruition, you're already ahead of the game. You've already got a trip on the books and you're ready to go.
The second part of that question is, are there vaccination or vaccine requirements?
That's a great question too. And that's something that I have posed to our leadership. And right now, since we don't have trips running, we don't have an official statement. But once we get closer to having trips, having coaches on the road, we'll definitely come out with an announcement. And with our relationship with AAA, the AAA agents will be one of the first people to know.
Great. This one wasn't a question, but a comment from one of the members. They said, we've had a fabulous experience with Trafalgar and look forward to going again, hopefully very soon. So thank you for writing in.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I mentioned a few times about the 5 million plus happy guests. That's one of the things that we boast about most because I can tell you how wonderful we are. This is the company that I work for. So this is what they pay me to do. I feel it in my heart, but there's a certain level of trust that you're going to have when it comes from a consumer. So we put a lot of weight. I do personally when I talk to travelers, I put a lot of weight on those reviews because when someone like you says you had a wonderful trip, that is worth millions. It's priceless. It's priceless. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Agreed. This is a really, really good question for your AAA travel professional. And Tanya, sorry for putting you on the spot on this one if you don't
It's
know.
okay. It's okay.
But it's asking, what are the best West Coast gateway cities for flights to Australia and New Zealand?
Ooh, honestly, I haven't looked at flights in so long. I did, I did check just to be prepared because I thought someone might ask me how long the flight is. Unfortunately, I can't answer that. I could definitely get you an answer.
Sure. Well, and again, I think that you can go back to your AAA travel professional. They'll know where you're departing from. They'll know if you have any plans within the States before you go, so they can figure out the right gateway for you to depart out of. So definitely a question for them. And then there was another member that wrote in that said, we have a Trafalgar, Italy tour scheduled for October. The tour is confirmed through October 10th, but not for ours starting October 17th. Any idea when we will know if ours will get confirmed?
That's a tough question, and confirmation is usually dealt with through reservations. But as soon as we have met the clip that they're looking for your tour, they're going to notify your travel professional. So please just hold tight. I'm sure you're very anxious. I would be too if I had a trip to Italy on my calendar. And thank you so much for your patronage. We really do appreciate you booking with us.
And that is the end of the questions that I have on my end, Tanya. I want to thank you again for being here today. Any final thoughts before we close out the event today?
No, I just feel very fortunate to have the relationship we do with AAA. AAA members are very close to my heart. I was a branch manager for a few years in Southern California. So thank you so much for understanding the importance of a membership. And yeah, I just appreciate you for being here.
Thank you. And thank you so much to everybody who took time out of their day to join us today. I know that we all have very busy lives right now. Again, if you think of any questions after the presentation today that you weren't able to get into the questions box, feel free to reach out to us any of the ways that are on the screen right now. We'd be more than happy to help you. And when you are ready to start talking about your travel plans for the future or anytime soon, definitely reach out to us. We're excited to talk travel again, and we look forward to getting you on your way once travel gets the green light again. So thank you again for joining. I hope that you have a great evening, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.